we have seen our postgraduates when they write dissertation, they struggle to write literature review. Even I have seen senior people who want to write papers also struggle. So actually, what is this literature review? It starts exactly when we start thinking about our research topic and we identify research problem, and then we start searching up something about that, okay, in the literature. And that is the first step. And when we go further, we see more and more literature, search more and more literature. Then based on that, we decide what is the gap there, and then we decide what is our topic we are going to take. Or sometimes there may be some knowledge already existing. Maybe we want to challenge that time. We may do this exercise. So literature review is not only about writing literature review when you write papers or thesis and all. There are other methods also when we review literature for other things. When we want to get more information, more knowledge about any subject, we conduct this review of literature. What is this review of literature? In my talk, I'm dividing into two parts. One is first part, I'm going to talk about literature review. And second part, I'm going to talk about literature search, how we have to do search. Okay, once we complete this. So objective of my first part of my talk is, at the end of this session, all participants should be able to define what is literature review, list various types of literature review, perform and write a well-organized literature review in a systematic and effective manner. And second part, I want participants to learn at the end of this session to define literature search, to enlist the various databases and search engines, how they can be used. They should be well versed with that, and they should perform a well organized literature search on the research question in a systematic and effective manner, and document these search items performed. So what is this literature review? It is a critical summary of a published work on particular topic. We decide one particular topic and analyze specific issues about that, and then try to identify trends in that research. What is done already known and what is not known, where are the gaps, where are the lacunae existing there. And it is, you can say that it's an overview of knowledge available on a particular topic. And it's a way of identifying the gaps, and that is the pillar on which our research idea stands. So initially you are doing this particular exercise, and then your research idea will be almost finalized, and then you go into more and more search, and then you can find out what has happened since the last so many years, and now what is happening, what may be the future. You can analyze it, discuss, and you can come to conclusion. Why this literature review? How it helps researcher? It helps researcher because they learn about development in that field. They find the gaps and they try to do more and more research on that and identify new topics. If there are gaps, if there are any lacunae, they can identify new topics. Whereas for reader, it forms an idea about the current state of topic. What is now in COVID-19 this thing, we are every day we are trying to search new literature, and it is so dynamic, this research. Every time new things are coming out. Actually, initially they said that chloroquine is effective now. So we don't know exactly, till now we don't know, so many things changed. And if you you are a reader, and if you see the review, you can decide whether that individual article you can read. There are two types of literature review. One is experimental literature review. Another is theoretical literature review. Experimental literature review is mostly we use in our writing paper in the introduction or background, or in the thesis in the dissertations. What is done in this experimental literature review is they survey all whatever available information is there on that particular topic, then critically appraise whether it is done in a proper way or we need to do it in a proper way. Just now Vishnu Bhatt sir was telling that some papers they are just published. They may not have any raw material and anything, they may not be available. It is just published. So you will come to know when you try to analyze the things, you will come to know what is happening and where you have to need to work. So need of the study, novelty, you can actually decide based on your survey and critical appraisal. And most critical part of this literature review is more extensively you review, more precise and systematically you can do your research project. You can work on it very systematically. Then second type of review is theoretical literature review. This actually starts with experimental literature review in the first stage. Survey and critically read the existing literature, and then you can summarize and you can actually part by part you will write and you will analyze what is this, and that is what is theoretical literature review. In this existing literature is whatever existing is there, on that only the conclusion is drawn. It may be a part of any dissertation, anything, but on that you can go more and more in depth. So the review can be either standalone or there may be a literature review which you are writing in a paper or in your dissertation or in your thesis, or it may be standalone type of literature review. So what is literature review? It's an overview of field of inquiry. Who has done the study on which topic and on that particular topic, and what are the present prevailing theories, hypotheses, what questions are asked, what methodology is followed, whether they are appropriate or not, whether they are useful or not. And ultimately, the review will focus on the gaps or lacunae existing in that. And that's what is needed when we start our research. Then what is this systematic review? It is that attempt to identify, appraise, and synthesize all the empirical evidence, whatever is available, and meets pre-specified eligible criteria. For example, if I want to study, say, a role of labetalol in preeclampsia, in hypertension during pregnancy, then what I will do, preeclampsia alone is maybe from 20 weeks to 34 weeks, till term, till patient delivers. But I may concentrate my idea of this, whatever study I want to conduct, only on fetal outcome in preterm babies. That means it is less than 37 weeks. So like that, I will pre-specified eligibility criteria, I will fix, and I will search all literature on that particular aspect. And then I will see, I will appraise each whatever, and there will be some inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria. So already you will be defining those inclusion criteria. You want to study that only in primigravida. So I will study only in primigravida, preterm. What is the effect of labetalol on fetal, I mean, what is the non-fetal outcome in that particular period in only Primigravida. And I have decided that, so I will exclude all other articles and I will only focus on that. I will analyze and appraise each article and synthesize some evidence, and that is systematic review. So systematic review will be having all myriad pattern. Then meta-analysis, it is a statistical process of analyzing, combining results from several similar studies. That what all studies say, they will just conclude on that. How to write a literature review? Let us see that. You can write your literature review either using following two approaches. One is chronological, year-wise, maybe 2008 what happened, then 10 what happened, then 15 what happened, like that. Or thematic, only one theme you will select and based on that you will write. So in chronological approach, it describes each work in succession, starting with the earliest available information and how the work went on, how the progress took on that particular research. So usually this is used for maybe some treatment, or maybe like for example, the models for treatment in any cancer, maybe CS cervix. Here we have taken one example of skin cancer in children, how it developed right from the beginning, and now present, what is the present strain. So that you can discuss and you group those sources, and then you can, those sources are grouped in a chronological manner. So year-wise, we will group those sources and record the research and development in each year what happened. Okay. In thematic approach, all whatever literature is available, it is based on some theme. It is organized, discussed, and here it is not very important to write it in a chronological year-wise manner. Okay, so here you need to do so much of summarization of each study, analyze each study, whatever existing knowledge is there, and draw the reader's attention to some new angle of perception. So that's why this study, this thematic approach is valued more. So how you will write
Madam,
literature?
excuse me.
Yes?
Madam, your slide is not visible, madam.
Not visible? It went up.
Yes, ma'am.
Why it went out?
Share it again, madam.
Sharing is there, but maybe it stopped in between, because it came as you are presenter, and then suddenly it stopped. Now it is there. Can you?
Yes, madam.
You have to excuse me. So steps of literature review. So collect all background literature about your broad research topic. Then you have to organize this recent progress in study topic, either thematically or chronologically, whichever you select. But always it's better to select thematically. And then you describe what is the involvement in the field. Then review should include always comparison and contrast of different studies, because contrast helps to identify gaps. Then identify what are the strengths and pitfalls in each of the studies. This is how you have to write the literature, and then you can literature review, and you can critically in an analytical manner, you can come to conclusion. So literature review should be a critical and analytical summary of whatever literature you have selected. So that is main important part of the literature review. So you cannot just go on writing what somebody has done. This person has done this study on this in this year and then concluded like that. Overall, what happened? How critically you have analyzed it. Based on that, you can come to a solid conclusion which may be acceptable. Then there are some standalone literature reviews also, narrative reviews or systematic review. Narrative reviews are like, it's just discussion. It's a sort of qualitative in nature. So relevant information is collected and discussion is written on that. And on any particular topic, and critical analysis of that, whatever discussion you are doing, that is a critical analysis of that information what you have collected. And then it is written in a organized manner, introduction, body, conclusion, like that. Here IMRAD pattern is not followed as it is followed in the systematic reviews. I was telling you that IMRAD pattern is followed there because there is a well-planned methodology, either quantitatively or qualitatively, whatever it is, you analyze that, and that with that certain protocol, what you have already pre-planned, based on that, you will define certain number of studies which fulfill your inclusion criteria, your specific, answer to your specific research question. And it is very focused on with a clear objective. This question will be, research question will be very focused with clear objective, and then systematically the researcher will analyze that, appraise that, critically appraise that, work on that, and then he or she will write introduction, methodology, then results and discussion. It is very systematic work. Now next, I think now, is it clear how to write literature review? Any question about that? Everyone has followed, or any question from audience? Any questions on audience?
So you can type your questions on the chat box otherwise.
Otherwise, that is also okay. So should I continue with literature search, how it should be done?
Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
In fact, in literature search, youngsters are better than me actually, but I have tried to do some justice. What is literature search? It's an ability to search in a purposeful or systematic manner through the range of literature or information relevant to one particular field. So that is literature search. Suppose you have identified some subject, you have identified maybe something which is, maybe you can say that smoking is one problem in the community, and how many, what is the literature available on that? If you just type smoking, you will get thousands, not thousands, maybe in crores you will get literature, isn't it? Maybe on that, based on that, you can just focus which is your research question, and based on that, you can go on putting further advanced searches, and you focus and try to get information, mainly whatever your research question is there, based on that, your focused answer you will get on that focus pertinent research question. Where we do this literature search, where we want to retrieve the best available evidence, or we want to know about any recent advances. We want to know some recent new treatment is coming out for some particular disease for our patients. We may collect sometimes evidence for our way of management, for our way of investigation, way of management of the patient is with evidence is very much important. So knowledge about recent advances is important, which you can apply in your patient care, because research is always evolving, evidence is always dynamic. Every day it is changing. So you have to find out what are the most recent advances. Then you will, sometimes you want to write some paper, you want to do your dissertation thesis, then you will try to identify what is the suitable research topic, what is the hot topic right now going on, and what is the area where I need to do research. There is no point in repeating research. Just now, Vishnu Bhatt sir was telling that repeating research doesn't carry any meaning. Dean sir was telling that 80% of repeated research are waste. So you don't want to do anything which is already done. You want to do something new. Novelty is very important when you conduct research. That's why you will do literature search. Then you don't want to duplicate somebody's study. Then you want to provide evidence for the research what you have already planned. And sometimes you want to generate discussion for the topic. So when we want to review, write review on the any topic, review article we want to write, that time we want to generate discussion for the topic, or maybe it's like a something which you are going to discuss and analyze and critically appraise and accept. That time you want to do literature search. What strategies do you follow when you do search of literature? You define what exact information you need. Like in evidence-based medicine, we want to formulate a question which will answer your particular problem. Suppose the case has got some particular problem, that question should be formulated in such a way by following Picot model. So it should be answerable, pertinent, focused question, which should be answerable and which can be used for your patient care or evidence as an evidence. So you first define what is your research question. You formulate your research hypothesis, and then you extract the concepts and terms from that, and then list the keywords. Suppose I want to study some particular drug, tranexamic acid in any type of hemorrhage. Maybe in our this thing we can say that postpartum hemorrhage, how its role is, or maybe in patients who are high risk for postpartum hemorrhage. Then I will formulate some question whether it is useful or not and list the keywords. Maybe it is like postpartum hemorrhage. It is like high risk factors in postpartum hemorrhage. Management of postpartum hemorrhage, it may be tranexamic acid. So you have to prepare some keywords. With that, you have to go and find what are the literature available with that keyword and decide which source to use. There are different databases, and how do they function. You have to find out which is better, whether it's a paid or free. That is very much important for us, isn't it? And run your search and review, refine, and set some alert about that. Then where to search? We have so many search engines. Online databases are there. You can find in the journals. There may be e-journals, there may be printed journals, peer-reviewed journals are there. Then you can search your literature search in the thesis, dissertation, conferences, conference proceedings, in books. Sometimes some gray areas will be there. Sometimes some general topic will be there. You may go to newspaper and magazine, some websites, maybe government, non-government, libraries, etc. Some gray literature. So you have to conduct your literature search in all these sources. These are some online databases. PubMed, Embase, Scopus, all of you know all this, ProQuest, isn't it? So these are some web addresses for that. And you can, any of these database you can use. Regional databases are also there. Like in India, we have INMET, NEDINT, then this HOL, Bangladesh Journal Online, BioLine, these Irish Research, all these are different databases. Then you can go and search in clinical trial registry. Suppose you want to search something in the clinical this thing, what has happened, you can go and find what studies are conducted in clinical trial registry. You will find all those clinical trials. So in Indian, it is a CTRINIC in NLM, clinicaltrials.gov, and WHO has also got that thing. So all these things, all these clinical trial registries you can see. You can go and visit some reviews also. Cochrane library is well known for systematic review. So you may find everything in such reviews, whatever you know or whatever you want, and maybe in addition to that, some advanced search you can do what is recent in that. Okay. So these are the some reviews. Then tool to search, there are different engines. We have Google. If you type anything in Google, everything will come. Right from what I should do when I'm stuck in this particular problem, if you write, someone will guide you. Then Google Scholar is another search engine, which is more scientific. Then Science Direct. Then NCBI has got PubMed. Then its advanced, this thing is Finsight. Finsight is another thing where you can use artificial intelligence also. How you can plan? You form the research question, then define keyword, and then you can, these keywords you can put by using Boolean operators. Then you can use certain filters which are given with that search engine on that particular website. Then using filter, you have to find out which is the right database for my search. Then start searching and keep records. You can, in Google and in PubMed and all, you can keep those records there only. You have your own account you can create there and you can keep your records. Search strategy, as I told, you have to first prepare your research question or hypothesis by PICO model so that you are more focused on particular thing. For example, what strategies are effective in reducing teenage pregnancies? So here how you will form keywords. Keywords, you can have you can use strategy, you can use some alternative words, synonym words, etc. For strategy, you write some synonym words for strategy. Here I have given one example. Then for effective, you can write some synonyms. Then for reducing, you write some words, teenage pregnancy, like adolescent pregnancy, early age pregnancy, like that. And you can go to PubMed. For example, I'm going to tell you how to use PubMed. Excuse me. No, it's okay. You have to search which field name, and you have to relevant terms. You have to find out what article types you want, whether you want free articles, you want any type of articles, or you want from particular journal. And you have to decide whether what the synonyms are there for your research, whatever words are coming in your research question, and all these things you have to find out. Then acronyms, for example, AMI, TB, like that. Alternative spellings you have to prepare and keep. Like there may be sometimes some sites use some different spelling this thing. So alternative spellings you can take. Sometimes nomenclature may be different. So when you are using Boolean operator, you have to use or and not. For example, in Google Scholar, if you say that smoking or nicotine and gutka. So these or you can say smoking or tobacco and gutka, or smoking, nicotine, smoking, or uh, chewing. Like that, you can use and or as a Boolean. Then you can use some quotation marks, like phrase you can use, healthcare practices, or you can use some truncations, like nurse. These are wildcards, or filters. When you use filters, maybe it is depending upon in which you are, what particular duration literature you want, or in which subject area. Sometimes you can get different language articles also. So you have to even put filter for language also. So when we are putting, we have to put English. So this is the site PubMed. This thing actually now recently they have changed the. I actually have made this little earlier, but recently they have changed this website's display little bit. Okay, so you can have this whatever search thing you want to put, you can put it in the search that bar. Your keywords you can put either using that Boolean this thing words, or you can put your whatever subject matter or whatever particular topic you want to search. And here PubMed has got different how you can use. It has got even PubMed tutorial. You can always use PubMed tutorial, take help, and you should know, you will come to know how to use it. Okay, then you can use this medical search items database, MESH database also, and then you will from in that you will put your MESH words and you will get your some more literatures. Then whether you want full text article or you want only abstracts, like that. If you want some journal, particular journals only, you can put that also. Then maybe you will get so many articles. Out of that, again, you have to put filters, and you can focus on your particular research problem. So this medical subject heading, recently they have updated this also, this display. And what's new, they will every time, every year, this is actually 2019, 2021, recently they have shown this. So even earlier also they have shown 2019, 18. So they have to, you have to go there and how your files, what are the vocabularies used, everything is given in MESH, these headings, okay, in this that it's a medical subject heading. About that, everything they have given. How you can use terminologies, how you can search in PubMed using this. So that is there. So it is actually self-explaining. Then you can put search and tags like title for title tag, use some parentheses like this or this. For example, when we say coagulopathy or DIC, like that. Field designation. For example, you want to say heart. In that, in the which field it is from, you have to put in the square brackets. Then you want to select language, then you have to select language. And it should be in the same format. See this English, and in the bracket you should add LA. Heart in the bracket MH, and this MH should be and this square bracket should be used. So if you don't get, sometimes you get that no documents are found. So it cannot happen like that. Maybe we have put something, maybe parentheses we have not put properly, or instead of square bracket, we have put normal bracket, or our spellings may be wrong. So you have to see all these things. Angioplasty, see here, spelling mistake is angioplasty. And here English is not spelled out properly. ENG is engineer, engine or English. So all these mistakes will lead to such no document found messages. So we have to be careful when we are using these filters, when we are using these MESH words. So for example, here we can have search something on cigarette smoking. So what you want to search reviews, you want to search clinical trials. So you can see the article types, or you want to customize, or so then you can also put another filter, and you can see whether you want full text or abstract. So here I want clinical trials on cigarette smoking, full text. Then I want only researches which are done in human. So this is how you can go on putting filters, so that your filters will lead you to focus your particular problem in that particular topic. So this is one thing. Here you can see, if you go here, there is one this thing will come, my account. In that, if you go and put your, and you can put your, from your email address, when you put your email address, you will have, you can actually record what you have searched. Your history will be shown. So that also you can just see here. See here, something I have searched on this particular date, this thing, cigarette smoking, on that 4:58 p.m. I have searched. So like that, it will give a whole history and what you have searched, how many articles, and you can go back and find, and even you can keep it for your references. Then another thing, in PubMed there are advanced search builders. So you can go to this advanced search builder, and you can pick each this thing tab, and you will go to certain field. So here, whether you want all fields, author, you want only particular authors, this thing, like that, you can go back. Okay. So here, how you can use and or not. That is for Boolean operators. So here, smoking you are using, you get so many articles. But suppose you say that smoking and nicotine, will get still more. Then this is and. So together, smoking and nicotine, so many articles you are getting. Then out of that, you have to filters. You want only in females or only in males. So females we don't want, so only in males, so many articles. So you have to put this, and you have to go on. So now on Google Scholar, how you can do literature search. In Google Scholar also, you can use this Boolean operators and or. So here you can, whatever your topic is there, you can put and you will get so many articles. Then you have to see whether you have to include patterns or you want only articles. So here include patterns we have selected. So those also will come. So you want to include a certain year, maybe only in 2020, what has happened, we want to know. So you can select that. You can select custom range also. You can select relevance also. So all these filters you can use. So custom range. So you can say that cited by related articles. So how many versions you want? All 9 versions. So out of that, those which are included patterns, and then they will, you can go back and you will get those particular sites and you will have those particular articles. So this is how you can go. So about PubMed, you can go about like that. So if you have selected only abstracts, you will get only abstracts. Similar articles, sometimes you want to have similar articles. So here you will go and click on similar articles. So you will get so many similar articles. So this is how you have to do searches in Google Scholar. How it should be effective. If you want to do it effectively, you have to follow certain rules, like avoid stop words, like adverbs, or only you have to use what important keywords are there. You cannot use whole sentence like that. Here I have given one example. Jim Morrison was in Saudi Arabia. You write Jim Morrison, Saudi Arabia. Or Boolean operators should be in capital letters. You cannot write not small. No case sensitivity. See, there is, if you have particular this thing, that will either in a bigger, capital letters, or in a small letters it will come. Then you can use, you cannot use one word for some literature search and another word for some. Whatever is case sensitive, that word only you have to use. Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Because electricity went off here. That's why. Then you can use certain codes. Then restrict domain. For example, you are restricting particular focused point. Then only it is very easy. And when you are very specific, you should be. When you are using, say, guideline you want, one single guideline you want, write guideline only. Don't write guidelines. So don't assume for singular or plural. You should not use any truncations. And you should neglect common words. That's why those keywords are important. Then when you are searching synonym, you use this symbol, what is shown, like wave-like symbol. And sometimes whenever you do this all research on PubMed and all, some article you want, and you go and try to find out, that will be very strategic article, and you go and find out whether full text is available. It will say that purchase this article for $35, sometimes $150. So in our resource poor countries, everyone cannot afford that, right? So how we can retrieve full articles? What we can do? So here is one article. In Science Direct, there is one article, and you want this to full text you want about this. So how much it is asking? $35. So what you will do? See, there is something called DOI here. There are so many ways to retrieve these articles. How you will retrieve? You will write to author, email author. You talk to a friend who has got access to this website very easily. Like someone who is working abroad can easily access this. Or you can ask a peer who is working in a higher institution which is better reputed. Then you can, even now we have ResearchGate. On ResearchGate, you can ask for full text of article. Then Mendeley, Facebook, anywhere you can you have so many avenues, but sometimes you want it urgently. What you will do? You can, there is one, this thing in Science Direct, you can see here, this article when we want, there is something called DOI. Right? So this is the DOI. Each article will have this particular number DOI, and you can just copy this DOI. And this is the site where you can do. This is illegal actually. It is like pirated site, you can say. This is like a Russian site. What they say that everyone has got right to access all research, whatever happens, wherever it happens. So that's why they provide all, whatever article, research article you want. If you type in this DOI of that article in Sci-Hub, this is one site where you can go and you can retrieve a full text of that article. So see, this was asking for $35. So we could retrieve it at free of cost. So this is how you can retrieve some articles directly by going to Sci-Hub. Then there is one more thing. It's a artificial intelligence based data mining of PubMed. It is actually paid thing. FinSight platform it is called, where you can get more and more information about any disease, its relevant things, and you can identify relations between the concepts like disease, its comorbidities, whether it is increasing trend, decreasing trend. All these things you can actually find out. We get more and more information about this, but only thing, this is a paid site. For this subscription is required, and but advantage are so much. And this is the site actually, https www.fitsel -search.info. So this is that site. If you go there and if you have some concept, some problem, you type it. For example, you want something about smoking. So you are going to find what all articles are there and you will go for advanced search. So this is one concept trend. This concept trend is which will tell you whether the trend is decreasing, increasing, what are the different aspects. For example, about dengue fever, it will tell about other infectious fever, it will tell, it may tell about its manifestation, it may tell its symptomatology, it may tell its hemorrhagic problems. All those things will be there. Then you have to, particular problem you have to focus on. So you want to focus on smoking. So in that smoking, all this, whether it is increasing, decreasing, what model, what cigarettes, what is, in which age group it is more, where exposure is more, all those things are there. So then you have to go and see, this is a concept cloud where you will see that it is all divided about dengue. So here one bubble is about only dengue fever. One bubble is only about blood loss. One bubble is about death. One bubble is about its infectious, other infectious diseases like that, which will cause hemorrhagic fever like that. So all this, if you say this is a concept cloud for dengue hemorrhagic fever. So on that, you have to go whichever you want. Suppose you want to find out only about uh, uh, patient, you will say only about patient. You want relationship about smoking and cancer, there is one cloud for that. You want only in the males, there is another cloud is that. So you have to go and you have to click on that and you will find all data about that. So this is about this concept cloud and concept trends. So when you want to find smoking, adult treatment, whatever it is, this is the different thing you can find. So to summary, we defined how we defined our literature review, how it should be done. We defined literature search. We listed all databases, available databases. We searched the engines and how they are having limited access. If they are having limited access, then how you can retrieve full text article and how you can start your search and organize your literature search. And you can document your literature search. So all these things plus the references also you can actually put. So I'm not going to go further about referencing. So here I will stop. So any questions about this?
Now the session will be open for discussion.
This session actually should be demonstrated live. Then only we'll understand. We have to, everyone has to have their laptops in front of them and they have to go to PubMed and then do those searches. Then it is very easy to understand. You will visit that particular search engine and you will put your problem in that and then you have to do all these exercises. Actually, it is not, I have told majority of these things theoretical because I could not help it. If it would have been physical, it would have been more clear, I believe. So any difficulty?
Ma'am, this particular session, no, madam, it will benefit from having one little more elaborate session where people actually get to do some kind of hands-on activity.
Yeah, yeah.
So they will actually do that. So if you think that a 2-hour or 3-hour or 4-hour workshop focusing specifically on literature review will help. We can plan, you can tell us when you will be able to do and what you want. So we can try more of a hands-on kind of workshop with breakout rooms for specifically whoever is interested in that kind of thing.
Yes,
so we can do that. That because this is one area every time I think we have some issues coming up. And yeah.
And if we are good at literature search, you will be able to actually handle research better. That's what I feel. That gaps you can identify better. Future, what is future? You can just focus on that also. That's why it is very important to do proper literature search. Especially when we are searching topics, that time we can search gaps very easily. If we have more number, particularly focused area, we have to do more and more in depth, more advanced search should be done. Then only you can focus on that particular problem.
Actually, one more thing which will really help is actually we should be. Sir,
Yes.
you're here. You're unmuted, sir. You're open.
What, Ravi Kumar, for the past half an hour, I am sending a chat messages. You unmute me. I wanted to talk. I wanted to question, and totally helpless. What is this? You are the host.
Okay, okay. Now you can ask questions. Maybe
I'm
Ravi
making
Kumar
all
has
kinds
not
of
sent it.
signs also in my video. Nobody is seeing. Then what other participants, probably anybody asks also, you don't want them to ask.
No, not like that.
See, one thing is, see this, you said while writing a review, use the IMRAR structure. Okay. One thing is the
Systematic review. Only in
whatever
systematic
systematic review or any kind of a
Yeah.
review, IMRAR structure doesn't support the writing of a review. So the review article, whatever type of review you are writing is entirely different. This infrastructure is meant for the experimental study, investigations, those kind of RCTs, etc. So the structure of a review is entirely different.
No, in systematic review, it is like what on what particular topic you are doing
And
research.
the essential structure of a review, systematic review, is first is the question. Then what are all your inclusion, the studies which you are using. Then third one is evaluation. Then last that's how it goes. That's one comment.
No,
I
but
wanted to make.
there is methodology is also involved in that. For example, if you are searching some particular article, in that
Okay.
you are whatever
Okay, fine.
you are trying to search, that inclusion criteria is not there.
But anyway, what I wanted to tell is infrastructure is not meant to write a review. That is one. Second thing is this Sci-Hub. Sci-Hub, that is one, some East European countries which will retrieve any article full text at no cost, free cost within no time. How legal it is, or we do not know. Every one of us are using that.
In the beginning
Any
only I
article.
told it is illegal because it
But
is like
I
a
really don't
pirated
know.
thing. But especially for postgraduates, it's difficult. $35 for each.
No, that's okay. But
this
this,
thing.
everybody is using that all across the country.
Everybody is using this actually.
Okay, thank you.
And in systematic review, they write first background and then they will write methodology, how they search those articles, from which search engine they went, what keywords they put. That is methodology. So like that, and then they will go through and analyze each article and then they come to conclusion. That's how a sort of IMRAD pattern they follow. It's not exactly written like IMRAD pattern, but sort of IMRAD pattern is followed in systematic reviews. Any questions? No questions. Mine is last
You are
session.
very clear, madam. I think.
No questions, but there is
Either
a
clear
chat
or
message. Ma'am, there is a chat message from nursing college principal. She is very interested in this topic. She wants to plan a workshop on how to do literature search and review of literature.
Sure, we can do anytime.
Okay.
We will plan that. Okay. And physical will be better, but we don't know when we are going to do that physical. Online only we can do. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, madam.
Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Okay.
So I thank all the eminent speakers for today's session on what and why